Arnold Rothstein was, to me, a very, very interesting character. He was known as the brain, the brain. And why it's so interesting, because he is really credited with the guy that transformed the mob from a bunch of street thugs, street gangs that were killing each other, into a gang of serious business people. He wanted this to be all about business. And he was a big gambler. And he was a brilliant gambler, as far as we were told. And he actually is credited with fixing the 1919 World Series. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that was a game which the World Series were fixed. It was known as the Black Sox. Rothstein supposedly had a hand in fixing that, won some major money. There were indictments that came down with a lot of the Chicago White Sox ball players back then. It was a big scandal, and Rothstein was at the bottom of it. Rothstein also was credited with really understanding how lucrative prohibition could be for the mob. He was one of the first guys that got involved with speakeasy. Made a tremendous amount of money back then. He was actually a mentor to Lucky Luciano, to Meyer Lansky, even to Bugsy Siegel. And he was the guy that really instructed Luciano and said, if you want this thing to last, you got to create it like a business. You can't be running around the streets like a bunch of gangs, killing each other. You're not going to get anywhere. You got to run this like a business operation. And Luciano was a good listener. He credits Rothstein with being a big mentor to him. And so he was one of the early guys, him and Lansky, that kind of started to form Cosa Nostra into a business. And Luciano obviously took control at some point in time. He was Italian. He was a made guy, mafia guy. And Luciano, as you know, was credited with creating the commission and really dividing the mobsters up then into the families that comprised the commission in various parts of the country. So he was credited with that, but Rothstein was his mentor and actually explained to him, if you want this thing to last, you got to get organized, you got to treat it as a business, and everybody's got to work pretty much in cooperation with each other, not like it was in the 20s when everybody was on the streets killing each other. Rothstein later on, met with his fate. He was gambling all the time. Allegedly, he got involved in a big card game and lost several $100,000. He failed to pay because he claimed that the game was fixed. As a result of that, he was assassinated. He was murdered, I think in the late 20s, early 30s, something like that.